This showcased the Atienza from Stanford Isabel's Reyes, presenting my position paper on green architecture as a form of sustainable development. As a graduating senior high school student, I've already realized that I want to pursue the building industry and contribute to the development of green architecture in the future. I decided on this as I discovered the concept a year ago. But for the sake of understanding this presentation, I'll define first what exactly is green architecture. Green architecture, or green building, as it is also called, is a practice of construction that focuses on sustainable designs, reducing ecological footprints while aiming to produce positive effects to the environment and its occupants as well, from a project's planning to design, construction, operation, maintenance, and demolition. This practice emerged in the 1990s as the building industry's response as the concerning effects of the Industrial Revolution started to show. And today, a few decades later, I wanted to know the current state of this practice and decide whether it is worth continuing to pursue this in the future or not. And as for why not, I present to you the following points. High initial costs, availability issues, and unclear efficacy. With the integration of modern energy-efficient technology and appliances, several reviews have concluded that green buildings are more expensive than conventional buildings. This perception is one of the reasons why a lot of people still hasn't invested or even heard of the practice to this day. Another thing that contributes to the price of green buildings is the labor it takes to find good material and location, as it poses strict requirements, such as enough renewable energy source and green materials that are unfortunately not yet as prominent in the market. But to officially label a building green, it has to be recognized by a certification program, like Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, or LEED, and Building for Ecologically Responsive Design Excellence, also known as Verde. The problem is, these systems are focused on design and construction specifications and not on the operation and maintenance output. Most rating systems are the same, but LEED is like the standard system used worldwide. But since there are no such systems for operation efficacy and performance, it's unclear whether green buildings are performing generally like how they're supposed to, not just in terms of energy performance, but occupant and cost satisfaction as well. While these faults may seem convincing enough not to pursue green architecture, there's more to this field than what meets our eye, and the reasons to pursue green architecture is because it supports sustainable development, is long-term cost-effective, and it's reflective of its own local environment. With the whole world moving towards development sustainably, the building industry ought to do the same as well as us. With green buildings, we can support 9 out of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, named by the World Green Building Council as good health and well-being, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation and infrastructure, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life on land, and partnership for the goals. And if we are to talk about the high initial cost previously mentioned, a study by Katz said that green buildings that were built early are cost-effective today, meaning that the money you invest will return to you eventually through lower operational costs, mostly because of lower energy and water consumption. The price of green buildings are also expected to drop once the industry has adapted to the practice, but do take mind that this will not happen if you all just wait. We have to engage ourselves in the moment as well. Lastly, the reason why there are no clear systems to measure the efficacy and performance of green buildings is because of the lack of agreement between experts, and this is basically because every green building is unique to its local environment, strengthening local biodiversity, and therefore has to be evaluated by its own standards. In a way, green buildings are just like our cultures, different and unique. So there will be a definite need to create systems specifically for evaluating each building's performance and efficacy. Ultimately, I decided to regard green architecture and building as a form of sustainable development that should be endorsed and pursued, because it's only up to time on us to see the results of yesterday's efforts and make efforts to see future results. Living sustainably can still be hard for most of us, but investing in green buildings can make this easier. Although investing always comes with a risk, every risk taken with green building is a chance to provide for the future generations and for our future selves. And so it seems that my position paper was done years earlier than I could be more decisive, but anyway, thanks.